are finally in the Christmas season, what I do believe is the best season for me. I speak for myself here on the Bridge 99 FM and Irie Jam Radio. Welcome to Chasing Purpose. How are we all doing today? I'm so excited to be hearing the Christmas carols and seeing all the Christmas decorations. Be reminded, Bridge Nation and Irie Jam fam, that we here at the Bridge, in collaboration with PRETC, we're doing a Christmas treat for the Maxfield Children's Home, and we're just asking you guys to make a small donation of a toy, a book, gift card, monetary. We take it all. Our Christmas treat is December 15th at the Maxfield Park Children's Home. So please make a child smile this Christmas by giving us a call, 876-669-5000, 876-669-5000, 876-669-5000 to make a child smile this Christmas. These are this is just one of the many initiatives the Bridge will be taking on as we are in our first year, stepping into our second year in short order. We're very much so about giving back to the community and being involved in the community, and this is our very first initiative here. So please be a part of Make a Child Smile this Christmas by donating a gift of whatever you want to, for children ages 6, Dominique, to 18, we're saying. Again, for the Maxfield Park Children's Home. We are doing this. The actual treat is the Thursday, December 15th. So please, when you're out and about doing your Christmas shopping, just pick up something for the picnic then. Please, me, I beg you. And just give us a call, 876-669-5000, 876-669-5000, and we will liaise with you to get the gifts over to us here at the Bridge. All right. So we have our Global Connect coming up in about 3 minutes, where we talk to New York, my big brother, over there at Irie Jam Radio, DJ Roy. But I want to get into our mindset message before we do just that. And our topic for today is embrace the lessons along the journey. So here on Chasing Purpose, we aim to motivate and to inspire and to help others pursue their dreams, their goals, and their aspirations. And we do that through our pillars, which is nurturing faith, setting intentions, pursuing aspirations, all while living boldly, right? So it's a conversation about purpose. It's a conversation about faith. It's a conversation about setting intention. It's a conversation about pursuing our aspirations, all while living boldly as we are on this journey of purpose. And what does that mean when I say on this journey of purpose? That means as we are moving throughout our life, right? What is it that sets your soul on fire? What is it that makes you get up in the morning, that gets you through the day, that puts you to bed at night and keeps you going day after day? That is what your purpose is. That is where your passion lies. That is your why. And that is what this show is tailored and curated to do. I am just your guide. And again, my name is Cinta Shea. Follow us on all our social media platforms at the Bridge 99 FM, at the Bridge 99 FM, at the Bridge 99 FM on all our social media platforms. You can follow me at Irie Sin, SYN, that's IRIESYN, and also follow at Chasing Purpose _on Purpose. Let me tell you guys something. We are not just audio radio, we are also visual, so not just terrestrial. You can watch us digitally on our app at the Bridge 99 FM, all one word, Android Play Store, Apple Store, at the Bridge 99 FM. There's always some sort of excitement happening across all of our shows here on the Bridge. So please be a part of our listening and viewing audience. All right. Embrace the lessons along the journey. That is what our message is for today. Life gives you lessons, life gives you blessings. But today we're talking about the lessons and how we're going to learn from each lesson. You know, when you go to school, the teachers, they teach you the ABCs and the 1, 2, 3s, but life teaches you about your values, what how you should be carrying yourself, respecting your peers. And not only just that, but as we go through life, whether we're in school or we're starting a business or just starting a new job, there are going to be lessons throughout every course and phase and stage in our lives, and we need to be learning from the lessons. Life is full of learning lessons and opportunities. We learn at school, at home, in the workplace, and in the community. It can also be useful to think about how we learn. I'm speaking too fast, I hear. When I get fired up, guys, I speak too fast. Thank you, Dominique, for pointing that out for me. Like any journey, you're directing the course. There's a starting point, a destination, and waypoints along the way. For many of us, our problem lies in only focusing on the destination. What is that quote? It is not about the destination, but more about the journey. Something along those lines. Dominique will correct me. How many of us are guilty of always saying, I'll be so glad when? Boy, when the year done, I'll be so glad. Boy, when I lose these whatever pounds, I'll be so happy. And we're so focused on what that destination is that we're not realizing along the ways that, life is showing us certain things. There's certain opportunities, there's certain relationships that we have gotten into that we didn't even realize because we're so focused on, I'll be so glad when. Whatever the goals are that you're running after, find the gems along the journey. Find the gems along the journey. You may have found a soul sister or friend, as I just said. If you're in college, this is where you find, you root yourself in finding really great relationships, right? If you're just starting a job, this is where you find, somebody in the job to kind of guide you along the way. You might be doing a DIY project and the person that's helping you don't even realize is the person that you really needed to help get to the end of this project. So find the gems along the journey. Don't just focus on, boy, I forget to. Boy, if when I finish, this is going to be. No, look over where you are right now. Right now, as I'm speaking to you, you're hearing my voice. What are the gems along the way? We're talking about embracing the journey. Embracing the journey. That is what we're talking about today. Not just focusing on the destination. Of course, we're going to focus on our dreams and our goals and our aims, but along the way, as we have the aim of losing X amount of pounds before the year end, as Christmas parties are come up, as we're focused on maybe launching a business before by the top of the year. What is it right now that you're doing that you need to learn the lesson from? And how are you going to apply the lessons so that you possibly don't make the same mistakes that you have before, right? Be a part of the conversation. 551-5782, 551-5782, 551-5782, 676-4996, 676-4996. We have a global connection coming up soon with Irie Jam Radio. I am standing by for that. But again, be a part of the conversation. I'm asking the question right now. Are you taking heed? Are you seeing the gems along the journey, or are you just focused on the destination? That's the question. Are you focused on the destination, or are you listening? Are you listening to the cues life is giving you about the journey? Are you involved in the journey? Or are you just focused on that destination? I hear my brother. I hear my big brother.
In and around. So with that said, let's see if we can make that call, make that connection through modern technology, right, with the one and only, the talented, and of course, how should I say, runway queen, Cynthia Shea Clark.
I'll take it. Thank you. Good morning.
Listen, I was on your page and you was wearing this outfit. I think it was green.
Yes, it was, a green and blue outfit dress.
No, sir.
Thank you, darling. I aim to, style is my thing. Style is my passion. It's one of my purposes. So I will always show up in that way. It's the way of me expressing myself. How are you?
I'm blessed. And if you notice, the fashion I'm wearing today is my England jersey, because England just beat.
Oh, they beat them?
They beat Iran 6-1, I think it was when I stopped watching. It was 6-1 when I stopped watching. I said, let me come. I got to connect with Cynthia Shea.
Yes, oh my God. So and again, I know nothing about football. I do not know. Did Raheem Sterling play? Is he on?
Yes, and he called, and he scored too.
Sterling, okay, see, so that's great.
So you know the thing. You know what
I want. Just a toops.
Sterling scored too. So
awesome.
really, really excited. But this is the best time of the year
Yes.
for anyone that loves football. And I say football because it's two football in it.
Yes.
Remember, say American football
Yes.
season,
Yes.
and I love that.
Yes.
I've always said that American football is probably one of the best sports.
It is so much fun to watch.
Period.
I love it.
And I tell people, now I'm not a football that listen. American football is like playing chess. And that's what I love it because it's players that can do things and players that are not allowed to move here. And that's what I love about American football. But European football, Caribbean football, no, it's a level. It's a level.
It's a vibe, and it's an energy. There's an energy that surrounds the football. I mean, there's a real rivalry going on apparently in the bridge. Who I carry who I said this and that. So and it's happening. I see the flags in the streets also. It's a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun.
It is. But in America, it's kind of changing, even for me, because it's become now, because you can gamble now on your phone.
Oh, yes.
It's become a betting thing for me. So I tell people, I'm not going to just look and say, boy, Brazil, because that's what we as Jamaicans always say.
Yeah,
Brazil,
that's Bobby
Brazil.
team.
Yeah, I'm breaking it down by zones. And I'm betting by who's going to score first. It's a gambling thing for me now. Now that I've grown and I have bills to pay, it's not just fun anymore. It is serious gambling. It is serious business.
Okay.
And for those that gamble on your phone,
You're going to have to teach me how to do that.
Yeah, it is serious like that. It is very, very serious. So what's going on? I know you were here for a minute.
I was in New York this past week. I had the opportunity to speak at the Breathe Again Wellness Retreat. Big up to Sharon and Jasmine Richards and Kevin Richards of Anaz Spa. I had an awesome time. Thank you to them. Also, while I was there, Roy, I ran into quite a few Irie Jam listeners. Big up to them. They listen to us here at the Bridge also. And they've already donated some toys. Perfect. So that is, that's always a great thing for me. I also did a little shopping, darling. I can't come to New York and not shop. So I did a little bit of that. Sean, hello, Sean. Hello, sir. Yes, I shop. I am Cynthia Shea. I'm a shopaholic. And also, Roy, I just want to shout out to the Green Street Capital team and family. They have come on board and volunteered really to help us with getting the toys. So wherever you are in the New York tri-state area, the Green Street Capital van, you should see it around Queens. I know a lot. Okay. They are going to be able to pick up the toys for us. All you have to do is give the office a call in New York at 718-723-4743. That's 718-723-4743. So thank you to Green Street Capital for stepping in that way. That's a big deal.
Big deal. And again, this is the season of giving, so please give what you can when you can for as long as you can. You guys are always looked out for the Irie Jam listeners and our Irie Jam kids that come to this time of the year. So we ask you please to continue, not because Cynthia Shea's not here in New York City, she would take off our belt.
No, she will. Me looking out, bro, me I got bad you up too. Me I got bad up RJ. Me I got bad
you always do. What you guys giving? Yeah, what you guys giving? And we've always been, receptive and also rallying around the troops. That means the people in the Queens, Brooklyn, Bronx, all the surrounding areas. But one thing I wanted to ask you, because we're kind of in the silly season here in America. 45 is now back on Twitter.
I hear. Elon. What I hear is that Elon Musk extended the olive branch, but he said, "No, I'm okay. I'm going to stay on." Remember, he has his own social media platform, so he's decided not even to go back, from what I understand.
Yeah, that's what he's saying now. This is a plan, a well-planned scheme. That's what I believe, anyway.
Yes.
And for Eli, he took a poll, all right, 52% voted that Trump should be allowed to come back. And so
who are those? Where are they? Who are they? Seriously.
It is scary, and the reason why I say scary, because think about it. He didn't need to buy Twitter. There's a reason why he's bought Twitter. He bought Twitter and fired or laid off more than 60% of the staff. Had to return and bring back another 30% because he didn't know what he was doing. There is a plan here, and we'll find out sooner or later. Only thing I'm praying,
need to stay awake. That's all.
Yeah, the only thing I'm praying is that he doesn't become 47. 47. 47. 47. 47. 47. 47. 47. 47. 47. 47. 47. 47. 47. 47. 47. 47. 47. 47. 47. 47. 47. 47. 47. 47. 47. 47. 47. 47. 47. 47. 47. 47. 47. 47. 47. 47. 47. 47. 47. 47. 47. 47. 47. 47. 47. 47. 47. 47. 47. 47. 47. 47. 47. 47. 47. 47. 47. 47. 47. 47. 47. 47. 47. 47. 47. 47. 47. 47. 47. 47. 47. 47. 47. 47. 47. 47. 47. 47. 47. 47. 47. 47. 47. 47. 47. 47. 47. 47. 47. 47. 47. 47. 47. 47. 47. 47. 47. 47. 47. 47. 47. 47. 47. 47. 47. 47. 47. 47. 47. 47. 47. 47. 47. 47. 47. 47. 47. 47.
No, I mean, but you know what? We didn't even, we thought that he wasn't going to be 45. We thought, oh, no, man, there's no way this reality star guy is going to be, and look, there no, so it's possible. So we need to do what we need to do to make sure that this does not happen.
And I noticed over the weekend, Jamaica was full of green.
It was, Roy. I mean, bus loads of people.
Green.
We're on location at the National Arena for the 79th JLP Annual Conference. It was bare excitement. The Prime Minister and his cabinet came out. They rolled out the stops. And there was a lot of talk about infrastructure, the crime plan, the new wage package. There was a lot discussed. There was a lot discussed, the way forward for Jamaica. I think the slogan is Jamaica Stronger, and I am, that's what it is for me. How are we gonna get Jamaica stronger?
Yeah.
That's
indeed.
it.
And it starts with the kids. Coming out of school,
absolutely,
trying to find something for them to do, some sort of work,
absolutely.
Learning a trade, whatever it might be. It does start with the kids, because I was talking to Tony Rebel on Friday, and he said, well, those that are in their 30s and 40s, not that they're a hopeless case or a lost cause, but we have to focus on the younger youths now and get them ready to join the workforce, but finding work for them to do, finding something for them to do. It is really
important. It's critical, actually.
Yeah,
it's critical.
And another thing I wanted to say too, the government also has to find a way to keep those that are in the workforce in Jamaica. So many teachers are now are migrating to the States because, one, the pay is better, two, the discipline,
and the opportunity. There's more opportunity as well. So you're right. You're absolutely right. That is a conversation that needs to be had. How do we keep our doctors, our nurses, our teachers? How do we keep our police officers? How do we keep them here?
Yeah.
Because they're needed.
Yeah.
They are needed here. And I'm not saying they're not needed abroad, but we need them here, boots on ground. We need them. Yeah. We do.
And really, if you ask them, they would rather be in Jamaica.
Oh, I'm sure for some of them. Yeah, man. Yeah. Of course.
Opportunity is opportunity, and when it knocks, sometimes you just have to go, especially when it comes to fending for your family. So we'll see what happens. We'll keep our fingers crossed.
We will see. There's a lot on the table.
There definitely is. Anything else you want to share with us?
Well, I mean, it's Christmas, right? Well, no, let me not say that, because coming as an American here, what I am saddened about is that this is the first time in my 44 years that I will not actually be traditionally celebrating Thanksgiving, which is this Thursday. Right? So I'm kind of saddened about that. So happy Thanksgiving to everybody in the New York tri-state area that is celebrating Thanksgiving or Friendsgiving, however you're going to be celebrating and giving thanks. Remember, you can save a little plate for me. Put it in the freezer. When I come back, I'll get it.
Also in the news here in the States, Joe Biden turns 80.
That's right. Happy birthday to him.
And a lot of people are saying that maybe he should not run again. Yeah. Now, Charles Barkley has come out and said he doesn't see why he would or should. My thoughts, Cynthia Shea, when you have a normal job, there is a retirement age. The retirement age is usually 65. Some people try to retire before that, but because of their pension, they'll hang on to 65. They'll stick it out. I always say that you retire when you're financially independent. I think that if you reach that 50, why not?
Yeah.
And enjoy life.
Yeah, man.
But I do believe there should be an age cap on anyone in government, period, both at home and abroad.
I was just gonna say both places. I agree with you. We need young, fresh minds. We need young, fresh ideas. We need innovative ideas. We need that injection of youth. And not to say that we're gonna move away from the wisdom of the elders, right? Not to say that, because I do believe we have moved away from the wisdom of the elders when it comes on to especially education, because you used to look to your grandmother who raised you. Like, the grandparents aren't exactly grandparents as of old, but we do need younger, fresher ideas, and I am 100% in agreement with you. The time has come, Uncle Joe. The time has come. Time has come. Time has come.
Really, but the scary thing now is that who runs for the Democrats?
Exactly. We do not have anybody. And what my fear is, you see, the Republicans are setting up themselves. They have quite a few candidates. So we need to, as the Democrats, we need to get our people together. We need to get into the small room and say, listen, guys, who's our guy? Who's our girl? I
like that. Who's our girl?
Yeah, man, but look here, not because. And let me say this. This past Saturday was International Men's Day, right?
Okay.
So happy International Men's Day to all my Irie Jam men, all my Bridge men. Happy International Men's Day. But one thing that I do have to belated, because it was this past Saturday. There is something that is a little disturbing for me, though, Roy. There's a note, right, that there was barely any posts about International Men's Day. Again, I didn't even know. The hashtag, if you search the hashtag for International Men's Day 22, there's only about maybe 5,000 posts. Meanwhile, for International Women's Day 22 stands at 166,000 posts celebrating for women. So women, we need to show up for our men. We love them. We need them. We need to support them. We have to do better. I'm calling us out. We have to do better. Did you know, Roy, that Saturday was International Men's Day?
But the difference, though, is Sin. I think the men also step up to the plate when it's International Women's Day.
They do, yes.
We honor our women.
Yes.
And I think this, take a listen.
This is a man's world.
Sin, it's a man's
This
world.
is a man's world.
But listen to the rest.
But it wouldn't be nothing without a woman or a girl.
Oh, that's my song.
I mean, yes, it would be. You're right. You're right. He's right. Who was that? James Brown? Excuse me. I don't even know who was that.
James Brown.
Yes, he was absolutely right.
Yeah.
It is a man's world, but we would be nothing without a woman and or a girl. So, but again, big up to all my men out there. We honor you, we rate you, we respect you, we love you.
All right.
And happy International Men's Day.
I think we've got a break to take, Sin, and we'll come back on the other side.
Yes, let's do that. Let's take a quick
break.
We'll be
right
right back.
And come back. Keep it up.
Keep connecting. Stay connected.
Experience the connection.
Irie Jam.
The Vision Zero initiative reminds you that speeding ruins lives. Drivers, always look for pedestrians and cyclists and slow your turns to 5 miles per hour.
The Bridge 99 FM and Irie Jam Radio, in collaboration with PRETC, presents Make a Child Smile this Christmas. Join us as we deliver the magic of Christmas to the Maxfield Park Children's Home in Kingston. Be a part of this heartfelt event and help us deck their tree with your donations of unwrapped toys, books, gift cards, and clothing for children ages 6 to 18 years old. Donors like you have always made the difference. To place your gifts under the tree, call the Bridge 99 FM at 876-669-5000, 876-669-5000, or Irie Jam Radio New York, 718-723-4743. That's 718-723-4743. Let's all spread festive love and joy and make a child smile this Christmas.
COVID-19 variants are still around. It's a good thing there are new boosters targeted to take them out. Bullseye. The new bivalent boosters are here. Everyone 5 and older should get boosted today.
VP Records MRE presents hot new release by artist Robert French entitled Every Day of My Life.
Every day of my life will be just loving you. Spend the rest of my life always.
Available on all social media platforms. For booking, contact MRE at 876-868-5266. Every day of my life.
Bono Nunos! Send money to Jamaica with Western Union for a chance to win an all-inclusive vacation to Jamaica for two.
Let's go.
Girls and my call for the bononos. Me clean up my shop like bononos. We turn up the place like ooh.
To enter, send money at a location, online at westernunion.com or on the Western Union app.
FX gains apply. Services offered by Western Union Financial Services Incorporated, NMLS 906983, or Western Union International Services, LLC, NMLS 906985.
From Black Bridge to the George Washington Bridge, from the top of the Empire State Building to the Blue Mountain Peak, from the Grill Point to Morant Point to Brooklyn, Bronx, Queens, Manhattan, New York City.
That's right. The bridge. So, Cynthia Shea, are you with us, or Cynthia Shea still in her local break?
I am here. We are here.
Okay. Now, I got a call from a friend of ours, a very good friend of ours.
Yes.
Robert Livingston.
Hello. Oh, my gosh. Oh, my gosh. He is partly the reason I am sitting before you today in this industry for 20-something years. Big up, Uncle Robert.
Yeah, he's actually in New York right now, and
Yes.
always a pleasure to hear from Robert. He's tuned into the program. So, Bridget, much respect. And let me say congratulations to Chris Martin, by the way, because the song that was produced by Robert Livingston, Guaranteed, is #1 here in the New York City
God, that's
area.
awesome.
#1 in Miami, Fort Lauderdale, West Palm area. So
it's such a great song too. It's so
Yeah.
easy. It's just I love it. I love it. Big up Mr. Livingston and Mrs. Livingston, who's in New York as well.
Yeah, and you know, it's a song that's, again, we hear so many negative things about Jamaica. It's a song that's telling you all the great places that Jamaica has, and if you go on vacation, and even if you live in Jamaica, you know, take some time out and explore that island. There's no island in the world like Jamaica.
None. Roy, I went to this place. Oh my goodness. It's called Stush in the Bush. It's in the hills of St. Anne. I want to say Free Hill. I could be totally lying.
Stush in the Bush.
Stush in the Bush. Roy, it bad. Oh my gosh. First of all, the stush part is the dressing. That's why you saw me in that outfit. But the bush part was the all the food in the restaurant comes from their farm.
Okay.
Right? So everything is locally sourced and it's all vegan. And you know, me's a girl will love my meat, Roy. You know me love me pork and then something there. So, but Roy, I didn't miss it. It was 7 courses, I believed. 7 courses. And every course was amazing. It's like every course trumped the first. I didn't want to say that word. The first one. But it was just so good. So my New York tri-state area people, whenever you come here, I'm sure some of you have already been, but whenever you're here, please check out Stush in the Bush. It is a beautiful love story. Chris and Lisa Binns, I believe, are their names, but it's a beautiful space that they've created for you to come and have a really awesome culinary experience. As we talk about Jamaica being, so beautiful. But Roy, I have a challenge for you.
Okay.
This is kind of how quick on the draw can you be. I woke up this morning after having an awesome weekend. And as I was driving, I was like, oh, I feel happy. I feel so good. And this song popped into my head. And you're ready, Roy?
Wait, I gotta open up.
Come on, how quick on the draw are you?
Go
Okay.
ahead.
It is I'll give you by DeVille. Let's see how fast you can pull it up.
Okay.
And I'm talking about being happy. And it's as long as you're happy. And I thought, this is exactly how I was feeling. I just felt like, yes, I'm happy. I'm in a great space. Not that I'm not always, but this morning I feel even more happy. And this song kind of emulates why. Let me see how fast you are, Roy. Come on, let's see. Yes!
Big song, you know.
Yeah, man. Listen to the words.
Girl, I will never change this. Real
Real love, baby, I could never fake this.
Hold on, listen.
Yeah, man.
DJ Right, what you said?
Yeah, oh yeah. See? Dominique, I need to get my dub plates on, okay?
Mission and your only mission is to put a smile up on her face.
Yes.
Davil got to let her know. DJ Right, tell her this, yeah. Girl, DJ Right would never change this. Real love, baby, DJ Right could never fake this. Oh, girl, DJ Right, I said, your smile is contagious. Lost a lot of things, but I'm glad that I found you. I found you. It don't really matter if it's winter, summer, spring, or fall. If DJ Roy gotta go against the world for you, we'd risk it all. I hope you know what you mean to me. When you're with me, I feel complete. DJ Roy would give up everything before we let you go. As long as you're happy.
So I hope I made you happy today, Sister Shay Clark.
Did you have? Oh my God, I am so happy. I'm so happy.
And what a way to start off the work week.
Yes.
People, have that positive vibe, that positive energy, kicking off your work week. Let nothing bother you. You've got life. Work on your health and strength, and the dollars and cents will definitely follow.
Absolutely. Today, Roy, we're talking about embracing the lessons along the journey. A lot of us are focused on the destination and not realizing along the way we have these amazing memories, these friends that we've made, and just all these great things that have happened to us, but we're not focused on them because we're it's like, boy, when the end of the year come, when we do this, all right? No, focus on the now, focus on the lessons in the journey.
Indeed. And sometimes when you focus on just a journey, when you gotten to where you think you want to be, you stop. And there's so much more to do. So much more to do. So keep that journey. Keep that journey going.
Yes.
All right. Well, Sin, I think we're fresh out of time, but as always, it is a pleasure to make that connection. And as long as you're happy, that makes me happy.
And as long as you're happy, my big brother, I love you like cook food. More. My New York people, I love to talk to you. Wednesday, Roy, because we have our surprise in 5.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, Wednesday. People remember we have our surprise in 5. This is where you get 5 songs. No, was it 5 songs? 10 minutes of, no, 5 songs.
10 seconds.
10 seconds of each song.
Right.
And you have to call and guess the 5 songs and the title of the song and the artist in the order.
Yeah.
And then you will win a surprise, all courtesy of Irie Jam Radio and the Bridge 99 FM. So please be prepared for it this Wednesday.
All right.
See you
Sin,
soon.
as always, big respect. Shout
Love
out
you,
to the whole team, the engineers down there at Bridge 99 FM, and we'll connect on Wednesday.
See you soon.
All right.
Bye. That was our Global Connect with my big brother from Irie Jam Radio, DJ Roy. Are we going to jump to a quick commercial break? All right. We're going to jump to a quick commercial break here locally. And then when we come back, we're going to talk more about embracing the lessons along the journey. Welcome back to Chasing Purpose, heard right here on the Bridge 99 FM. Our numbers here are 551-5782, 551-5782. Our studio line 676-4996, 676-4996. And again, if you want to be a part of our Make a Child Smile by giving a donation of a gift, you can give us a call at 669-5000, at 669-5000. We are talking about embracing the lessons along the journey. And what does that look like? Embracing the lessons, right? I always say life gives you lessons and it gives you blessings. And what you need to do is really while you rejoice about the blessings, but you also have to look at the lessons and see what the lessons there are, through the experiences, what are the lessons that you're learning, and how can you apply them so you know for the betterment. You know, how do you look at these lessons and not just focus on the negative, but what's the positive of these lessons, and how do you apply them on your life's journey going forward? So here are some steps that you can take along your way of your learning journey, because remember, life is about learning, right? This journey that we are on is about learning, and no matter how much school you have gone through, when you're finished school, life will continue to teach you lessons. You're constantly learning, or at least you should be constantly learning. The first step in a learning journey is to find your purpose. Welcome to Chasing Purpose. It's a good idea to ask yourself why you are doing something. Understanding the reason behind your actions will set you on a clear learning journey's path. Ask yourself, what do you want to achieve? So when you find out what that why is, what sets your soul on fire, how are you going to achieve it? The next step is to figure out where you are on your journey and discover ways you can move forward. This is where your learning power comes into play. Learning power is like the fuel that drives you on your learning journey. Learning power improves your potential to succeed. So these lessons that sometimes we look at as negative, if we look at them as positive and apply them to our journey, they will further propel us on our journey, right? They'll help us to succeed. Next, put your plan into action. Put your plan into action, and often this will mean doing something different. While moving forward on your learning journey, navigating the terrain and working towards your goal, you might discover new ways of doing things, be exposed to new ideas, and or change your approach to old problems. A lot of us get stuck in our way, and it's our way or the highway, but really and truly, there are some things that we need to be doing differently. Approaching the day differently. Approaching life differently, approaching our coworkers differently, approaching our loved ones differently, approaching whatever the issue is or whatever's holding us back differently, so that we can see a different outcome. And also keep track of your progress throughout your learning journey in order to see how you've changed. That's important. That along the way that you're keeping track of how you're doing. Are you moving forward? Are you stuck? Or are you going backwards? And if it's the latter, what do you need to do? What do you need to change in order to move forward? What different approaches do you need to do to move forward? And how do you keep track? Are you putting things in your phone? Are you writing things down? Are you keeping a calendar, a journal, which I think is very important. I encourage everybody to journal their life, but especially whenever they have an action plan. When you put the action plan into place, journal. How are things doing? How are things going along the way? What are the hindrances? What's the forward movement? What's the progression? What could you possibly need to change? Write things down. It is so important. Write things down. Journal your progress. That way you can look back and see, all right, well, I jotted this down on today is November 21st. And this is what I said I was going to do. And I actually got this done. And because I got this done, this has put me on a trajectory of X. Write things down. You'll be better for it. I know you guys have heard me say this before. There is purpose in the journey. And as Roy said earlier, once you reach that destination, you will realize that there's more to go. When you find your purpose, you're going to realize there's purpose within that purpose. Sometimes we are so in a rush to get there, wherever there is. we end up losing our sense of direction when we arrive. The journey is what keeps us grounded once we get to our goal. Once we set and get to our goal, the journey keeps us grounded. Our journey can also be the reason we choose to help others who embark on similar missions. This is a big deal. Because we've been there, we know what it's like. So on this journey of whatever it is that you're pursuing, whatever your passion is, whatever you're chasing at that purpose, make sure that you're helping persons along the way. Make sure that you're giving back in some way, shape, or form. Make sure to send that elevator back down once you've arrived. Ecclesiastes 9:11 says the race is not given to the swift or to the strong, but to the ones who endures to the end. Endurance and perseverance is important on this journey. Endurance and perseverance are critical on this journey, and especially as we're talking about learning these lessons. Sometimes people get knocked down and they don't want to get up. They stay there instead of looking at the lessons. Why did I get knocked down? What can I do different? Maybe I need to change this lane. Maybe I need to put on my indicator next time. Don't stay down. Get up. The race is not for the swift, but those who can endure. That staying power. That getting knocked down, that failing forward. Important on this journey. Our journey may sometimes be painful, but in the pain, there are also lessons. I can write a whole book about the pain that I've been through and the lessons that I've gotten. And some of the lessons, now that I look back at it, I haven't even applied. I now need to kind of go backtrack and look back and say, no, how can I apply these, especially on this new direction that I'm going? We will learn from the journey, or we will ignore the lessons. Which one are you? Are you someone that you get a lesson and you're just like, Chama, I can't matter with that? Or are you going to sit with it and allow yourself to learn from the journey? So will you learn from your journey? Or will you ignore the lessons? Remember, today we're talking about embracing the lessons along the journey. We're going to jump to a quick commercial break. More when we come back right here on Chasing Purpose. Oh gosh, if you guys could hear some of the behind the scene conversations that we have here. So yes, welcome back to Chasing Purpose. We are talking about embracing the lessons along the journey. We are jumping into our purposeful leadership segment. So yeah, let's do that. There are more times than not when a leader has to look at their current situation and realize their education didn't give them an answer or all the answers. Rather, their experience in the workplace or at home has given them insight into their issue. Leaders are presented with new situations on a daily, if not hourly basis. New problems and issues arise, and it is up to you, the leader, to figure out the solution. Our guest for this segment's Purposeful Leadership knows only too well about the power of learning while leading. Mark-Odean Grant is a Caribbean research psychologist, transformational leader, and entrepreneur with more than 20 years of experience spanning business management, public administration, and higher education. Having served in executive, technical, and academic roles, he is versed in people analytics. We're going to talk about that part. Leadership development, teaming, and organizational effectiveness. Mark-Odean is a doctoral scholar in transformational leadership at how do you say this? Bakke Graduate University. He holds an honors degree in psychology and an MSc in human resource development from the University of West Indies, UWI. Mona, welcome to Chasing Purpose.
Thank you.
Mark-Odean. Mark-Odean, how are you, darling? Thank you for joining us.
I'm fine, thank you.
Mark-Odean's mantra is well-being, well done. Let's start there.
Yeah.
Well-being, well done. Tell me about that.
Take care of yourself if you're going to show up and do your best work.
And Mark-Odean was trying to challenge me on some hill. I'm just like, sir, I don't sweat. I don't know. I don't do that. So thank you. But yes, you're right. You're absolutely right. Well, you have to take care of yourself. So well-being, well done. Let's talk about core values as it pertains to leadership and just Bridge Nation, Irie Jam fam. When we go into this this leadership segment, it is not just for those who are in leadership positions, C-suite positions. Remember, we are the CEOs of our lives. We are our leaders, right? So these are lessons here for you to also apply to your lives. So what are some core values when it comes to leadership?
Well, for me, the biggest one is inclusion.
Okay.
Yeah, because sometimes we look at leadership as just about the position or the rank or the title, and we forget about the people who we are getting the work done through or with. And so inclusion is about making sure that we have everybody on the same page. We are considering everybody's needs so that we are delivering those results together.
Do you think that is something that's embraced here in Jamaica? No, the needs part.
Nah, not much.
How do you think we can get there? Because I think that's important. You know, as a team, your team members need to know that they have a space where they can speak, where their opinion is respected. May not always be wanted, but it's respected. You know, but I don't know that is there space in Jamaica for that?
I think there's space. Our culture has taught us to be more competitive than collaborative. And so we compete to become leaders or managers or bosses, if you want to call it that. And then we forget that we're in it together. There's this thing saying, together each achieves more.
Yes.
It's a team that gets the work done.
It's not an individual.
And so it's very important for us to remember that.
Take us through your leadership journey.
Wow. You have time?
No, we have a whole heap of time.
Well, I think my leadership journey started in high school. At 14 years old, I became a member of the student government when I was elected as a student council president. I was way in out of my depth. Had no clue what I was doing, but that was the first opportunity to represent people, as well as start to flex leadership muscles. And that gave me the chance to see what that was about. And I grew from there. In terms of community leadership, that was in church. So I was a choir director as well as active in my youth department at the time. And then my professional leadership journey started some time ago when I became a cashier supervisor at University Hospital. And so that I think that is where the tire hit the road in terms of learning how not just to be in a position of leadership, but actually helping people to do what's required to produce results. Because it's not just about, hey, I'm the leader, but it's what we can achieve together as a team in a meaningful way. And so my career sort of took off from cashier to supervisor to manager, and until I went into executive management. And since then, I've been leading in some form or the other, whether a team or maybe based on my expertise.
I want to go back to it was our 14-year-old self that started the student council. So a seed was planted there by whoever saw fit to put you in that. My
peers.
In that your peers, right? So you fit to take up that leadership role. Do you think that led you on your trajectory?
I think so, because knowing me, or maybe who I was then, without the growth and development, I would have never imagined that I would become a leader. I'd be in some corner somewhere working on a computer.
And I'm glad you touched on that. So your 14-year-old self, you had to go through growth and development, right? Today we're talking about learning or embracing the lessons.
Absolutely.
Right? And applying them, right? So I'm going to ask you, and you're not that old. Stop. You're talking about that from then. You're at 14 to today, from UE, taking up cashier as UE to where you are today. What lessons have you learned, and have you applied them, or have you just said, no, mama, can't bother with that?
Lessons. So I like to talk about learning in terms of psychology's definition of learning, a change in behavior based on your experiences or the knowledge that you get. So it's not just about knowing, it's about actually doing something with what you know.
Yes.
And so certainly one of the biggest lessons that I have learned is that you can. It's easy to feel like things are impossible. You can. But when there's an expectation from your team or your peers or maybe your family, or you have a mission that you think is critical for you to accomplish, that you can.
You can.
That there are many things that were impossible for me years ago.
Oh, you thought were impossible.
And now it's within my capability and more.
And more. And so much more. So my young listeners out there, Bridge Nation, you can. Okay, Mark-Odean is telling you, you can, no matter how hard it may look. It looked hard to him. Lord knows that, there's things that looked hard to me, and still as a leader look hard to me, but you can.
Yeah.
You can. Who are some of the top male leadership role models for you?
Very interesting question. I've been thinking about that, and it's sort of an area of bother for me because I don't know that growing up I had much in the way of what I would describe as intentional male role models, and that's both an indictment on our culture, and we're doing more about that now in terms of intentionally mentoring and empowering males.
Yeah, which is
important. I see some young people doing some great work in that area, but it's also a call to action. But if I were to say the most powerful role model in my life was one of my former boss, Mr. Wayne Robertson. Just from my interview, his executive presence and passion for service inspired me, and I wanted to work for him. And as I got to know him, looking at how committed he was about making sure he's taking care of his people while delivering results, and his government work, so that go. And enforcing the need for us to build our capabilities, learning and growing, so that we're not just there, but we're actually doing something as well as building ourselves. That I would say he would probably be the most impacting male role model from a leadership perspective for me.
An indictment and a call to action. Let's focus on the call to action.
Rewinding.
I'm in my head like, yes. A call to action. Let's focus on that call to action. Somebody right now, and as you said, there are programs, and we've gotten better. But I want us to appeal to the 14-year-old Mark-Odeans out there, and to those persons who have 14-year-old Mark-Odeans out there, that we need to step up.
And it has to be intentional.
And it has to be intentional on both sides.
So the 14-year-old has to look out for those positive role models and pursue them.
Yes.
Whether it's a mentor or a sponsor or somebody who can hold you accountable for your goals.
Yes.
But those of us who have achieved some measure of success or who have made it, I think as a part of our responsibility to give back, so that we are opening some of those doors that might seem impossible for others to open.
Responsibility to give back. There's a lot of persons that are in certain places in their lives, whether it be entertainment or wherever they are in their journey, but live a public life, right? But they feel they don't have that responsibility. I don't need to be a role model for anyone. I'm doing this for myself or those around me. I shouldn't have to live my life for other persons. What do you think about that?
I would take it from a brand perspective, because whether or not you do it, you're gonna be a role model because somebody is looking. And so if you're not intentional about the brand you're building or the legacy that you're creating, something will happen anyway. And so it's upon you to make sure that you're taking charge or control of that, so that we don't hear one bad story about you then.
Yeah. There are a lot of things. I'm glad you touched on the legacy building, because I don't think a lot of people focus really on that. It's more about, well, I'm going to open up this business and I want to get to this amount in my bank account. But what's past that? What's the succession plan? What is the legacy that you want to leave? What do you want to what do you want to be known for? Those are things that, as Mark-Odean is saying, we need to be mindful of as we're building out our brands, as we're building out our companies and aspiring to these things. And even just on a personal level, because we are a brand.
Yeah.
We are our own brand. It doesn't matter if you're running a company, if you are a student in school right now. You are a brand, right? You are your brand. You represent yourself. So how are you showing up for yourself? And how what's the legacy? What do you want to? How do you want to be known when you are no longer here? And what energy are you trying to put out right now? I'm going to go off on a tangent. Let's get back to it. We're talking about learning our lessons along the way on our journey. How important is vulnerability and openness in learning in leadership?
Good question.
Because that word vulnerability, and as a male perspective, that word vulnerability sometimes can be frowned upon. People can be see it as a weakness. How do you view it?
So that's how we look at vulnerability, because it's Brené Brown is a leading researcher
love her
on vulnerability and shame, and we typically think about it, as you say, in terms of weakness, but she looks at it in a different way, and I love how she looks at it.
Absolutely.
She says vulnerability is our greatest measure of courage. And so
it absolutely is.
Instead of leaning into, oh my God, I'm emotionally exposed, is an indicator that this is an opportunity for you to be courageous. And that hard, but what it does is it sets you up, one, to earn the leadership stripes or even the personal development stripes, because life's not easy, No. Life is a challenge.
It is.
And people are looking to you for an example of overcoming.
Yeah.
And so vulnerability, I think, is crucial to effective leadership, because it's what establishes you as human, because somehow we pretend like we're not human. And then secondly, it demonstrates that, if I can do this, if I can make this, if I can do better, then you can too.
Yes.
Which is what leadership is about. It's in service of the team or the mission.
Say that again. Leadership is what?
In service of
in
the
service.
team.
In service of. That word service is a big deal for me.
Big deal for me as well.
We have to understand as leaders, we are of service. We're in the service business.
We're servants.
We're servants.
And that sounds so nice in the Caribbean culture.
Which we need to change too. We need to
It's something that we're grappling with.
Yeah. We need to re-educate ourselves around being of service. Right? If you don't want to use the word servant.
Service over service.
Yes. We are servants, people. We sit here, as we're sitting here and speaking to you. We're of service. We're saying to you, we are here, right? Serving you, giving you this information, right? So we're of service, not because we're in whatever position. We are of service, and we need to have that mindset, especially as we're going into the holiday season, and you're gonna see certain things happen. Be mindful that we all need to be of service. We need to be showing up and helping others, right?
Absolutely.
We need to be, I need a bullhorn in a soapbox somewhere. All right. As a man in leadership, as we just celebrated International Men's Day, has it been easy for you? Has your journey been easy?
I would say it's a mix of challenges and pleasant wonderfulness, if you might call it that. I don't think that leadership or any other pursuit in life has to be either or. Sometimes it's yes and. And so challenges, even though they're inconvenient, help you to be better. And there aren't just challenges, there are blessings as well. And so the journey has been up and down, but that is what has helped to make me who I am today.
Yeah. And you're right. And it's not, and it hasn't stopped. You're going to continue, especially on your journey. You're so young. You have so much more to offer. Look here now. I can look and see. All right. And again, being young is a mindset.
It's a mindset.
It is a mindset. I hear people who are in their 30s saying, oh my God, my life is over. I'm so old. But then I see a 60, 70-year-old person on Instagram just starting modeling and stuff. It's a mindset. It is a mindset, sir. So please.
I need to launch my modeling career.
Look here. Yes. Don't worry. Don't worry. I'll start you. What can men and women learn from each other regarding leadership?
Level setting, I would say we're different. That's the biggest lesson. And I think our culture has forced us to become the other. So men should probably get softer and women should get tougher, instead of figuring out what are those unique attributes, talents, perspectives, gifts that we bring to the table, and how do we put those together to make something wonderful. And so collaborating again instead of competing or fighting sometimes is crucial for us to succeed. And I think that is the biggest lesson, to embrace our differences and figure out how we can work together.
Collaboration versus competitive or competing, right? As you said, we are taught, we're raised to be competitive in whatever it is that we're doing. How do we begin the conversation, or do you believe the conversation has begun where we need to collaborate, we should be collaborating versus competing with each other?
I think we're realizing, but I don't know if we're ready to talk about it.
But we have to talk about it in order for us in order for it to happen. We have to talk about it.
And it's back to the yes and conversation. I don't think that there is limited success for all of us. I think all of us can win, and it's a huge world, it's a huge country, it's a huge region. And often the competition, while good because it pushes us, what it does is cause us to exploit resources in very inefficient ways. And so we have one bread, and the two we are dead for hungry because we are waste the bread. So we talk about women's empowerment, and we talk about marginalized group in terms of males. But I think there's a huge opportunity to talk about how can we work together. What is it that you need from me, Sin?
Right.
And what do I have that you need?
Could possibly
and how can we work together? And that's not easy, you know.
No, it's not.
I think it's
because
necessary.
of how we were reared, possibly, and what we saw growing up. But I do believe that sitting right here, and so much more, we are the change that we need to see, right? We are the persons that need to begin those conversations, right? As hard as it may be, because it's not going to be easy.
No, it's not easy, and it speaks to authenticity.
Yeah.
Because if I am trying to be like you, and you are trying to be like me, then the both of us miss out on what we both have to offer.
As a male, do you find it? Are you your authentic self? Do you find it hard to be authentic sometimes?
Sometimes it's hard because that's not what's required, or that's not what's rewarded. And then there are narratives around what is really a male, or what is expected from a male. And so there's this constant negotiation of who you should be. And if you have very limited self-awareness, then you end up playing the role that's given to you. If you don't have a very strong opinion or awareness of who you are, then you'll become whoever everybody else wants you to be.
Let's say there's somebody that doesn't have that self-awareness. How can they arm themselves to ensure that they don't put on a mask? How do they do it? How do they arm them? How do they become authentic as a male, as someone that you went through high school, you went through prep school, you've rose in the ranks, you're doing amazing now. How does someone who is listening right now that is struggling with this, how do you advise them to ensure that advise them to stay authentic, to be their true selves, irregardless of what's rewarded or what's required?
Well, the first part is to know who you are, and that sounds really
But it's no, but you're
basic.
Yeah.
But what is it about you that's different from everybody else? Or what are your strengths? What are your weaknesses? Sometimes we have to sit down and do a personal SWOT analysis, and say, hey, what am I good at and what am I not so good at? And a part of self, from a psychological perspective, is not just your own perception of yourself, but what you think other people think. Yeah. And so feedback from others is also crucial. And so having a network or at least a circle of people you can trust tell you the truth
that can hold you accountable
is important to say, hey, you say you're going for 100, but you're really doing 90. Right. How can you move the bar? As opposed to somebody telling you, why you're great.
Yeah. Because we don't need yes men. We don't. I mean, it's great to have cheerleaders. Let me not say that. Let me kill them.
You need a cheerleader.
We do need our cheerleaders, but we also need the persons that are going to hold us accountable and say, look, you want to reach to 100, but you're only giving 60%. Do better.
And so
do
what
more.
we can change, what we can do better, and so that self-awareness piece is important in terms of your own introspection as well as getting that feedback. Online, there are a whole heap of assessments that you can do as well, whether it's a career assessment or a personality assessment, to give you some broader data around where do you fall compared to others. That's helpful. And when you're done with that, you have to be ready to take meaningful action. Yeah.
I love the idea. I love the thought of doing a SWOT analysis. That's very important, guys. Do a SWOT analysis. See where your strengths are, what your weaknesses are, what the opportunities are that are there. Those things are very, very important. And be ready to apply them. Be ready to apply them and see where you need to maybe pivot, where you need to kind of swerve. And it's very, very, very important on this journey of leadership. And when we talk about leadership, I'm not just talking about in the space of a business, but leading your own self, leading your families,
your family, your
leading your family, your community, which is super important, because we need leadership within the communities. On all fronts, we need leaderships. What are some common personality traits or habits that we must conquer to be able to be vulnerable enough to learn during our leadership journey? We use this word vulnerable here a lot, but because we believe that there's power in vulnerability.
In terms of personality traits, I wouldn't necessarily say conquer them as much as I would say be aware of them and budget how much energy you'll need. So for example,
I like that, the budgeting of energy.
Yeah, so if you are extroverted, you'll be fine going out and having fun, doing a marketing job, for example. But if you are introverted and you have to go do public speaking, it doesn't mean you can't. It just means it's going to require more of you. And so it don't make no sense you can show up on the stage and up here.
Right.
And so being aware of what are those traits that you have, adjust you that, will arm you to be able to know what preparation is required and how you can assess who you are, not to change necessarily, but how to modulate. It's like an orchestra. You're not gonna hear loud music all the time. You gotta have a crescendo and then it go and come down. It's the same orchestra, and it's the same way we can modulate who we are based on what the situation requires.
The circumstance is.
In terms of habits, a lot of habits. Waste time.
Yeah.
You can't waste time.
No.
I mean, we think we have time,
but we don't. It's fleeting.
We don't. Yeah. And to be an effective leader, you have to be able to seize the moment. And we might not always do that. We're going to make mistakes and we're going to waste time.
Which is okay, though. With those mistakes, okay.
But you have to learn from them.
You have to learn from them.
You have to learn from them. The other thing that I like to talk about in terms of vulnerability in leadership is trying to do everything yourself. That often gets you to a certain point. So you are the expert that gets you to the management position. But that is not what's going to get you higher. Yeah. Leadership is about working with and through others. Yeah. And so sitting in a corner doing everything on your own is not going to be helpful, and that requires vulnerability to grapple with. Because what has helped you to be successful in the past might not necessarily be what is going to help you to move to the next level. So you have to let go of that.
As you talk about needing others, right? And you're gonna need people to kind of get to where it's not just you want. You can't sit down on one corner and say, all right, I'm gonna do marketing, I'm gonna do promotions, I'm gonna do management. No, that's not going to work. I remember this quote that I'm bringing up here. It says, you are the CEO of your own life. Now go out there and act like it. Make your own rules, hire and fire people, and set goals. That's not what I was talking about. Nope, that's not it. I'm gonna get to it. But it was talking about making sure that you arm yourself with the proper teams, right? The right people.
The right people.
And also identify the people that are not the right people.
Not the right people, because leadership is about choices as well.
It is about choices. That's what that particular quote was about. But there's one that spoke about understanding that you can't do it by yourself.
You can't.
You will not be able to. It is.
And maybe you've done that all your life, but you're going to be stuck.
But let's say you have done that all your life. Let's just look back and see how far did you get though. And could you have gotten further if you had a right
way you did?
Yeah, right. You know, so it's important that we have the right people that are going to go along the journey with us, because we can't do it by ourselves. There's nothing in life that we can do by ourselves. We are built to belong.
And sometimes you have to go search for them people there, you know?
Yeah.
Because it's not all the time that the right people are going to be present. Only God alone omnipresent. So sometimes you have to intentionally look for that mentor or look for that person that can help you with finance or marketing or whatever it is.
You're absolutely right. I'm so disappointed I can't find a quote right now, because it spoke to exactly what you were talking about. Because we do need we need proper people on our team. We need strong people on our team to help us. There are a lot of people that are big vision persons, but in order to move the vision forward, you can't. You won't know how. You're going to need persons that are going to help you along the way. It's so hard for some people, but it's okay, guys. It's okay to let go and let people lead. Okay, let people work with you to help you lead, is what I should say. All right, so we're staying in the vulnerability realm here. How does vulnerability and openness to learning empower and validate team members?
So, in terms of the vulnerability part, humanness is important in leadership.
Humanness.
Yeah, being human. We it's nice to be perfect. I mean, I wish I was perfect.
Who was perfect? Tell me.
And Brené Brown again talks about perfection as not the ideal measure of success, because what it really is a very curious way of hiding your insecurities. So being able to say, hey, I made a mistake, or hey, I don't know that, or hey, we have to switch directions, demonstrates to your team that, hey, you're human too.
Yes.
And so it gives them permission to be able to flex in those spaces, whether it's success or failure or challenges, because you're demonstrating that to them. The other thing about vulnerability is that it creates connection.
Yes.
It creates connection because people know when you're fake, you know.
Yeah, of course.
People know when you're fake, and perfection comes off as fake. It looks nice, but it comes off as fake. And so if you're not able to drop that mask, then you won't be able to connect with your team. And it's that connection that drives performance.
It is that connection that drives performance. When that connection isn't there and you're moving disjointed, you're not really gonna get anywhere, to be honest.
Nowhere.
So, and that humanness is very, very important. I don't think that a lot of us understand what it is just to be human, to remove the mask. And as a leaders, a lot of us that kind of feel that we have to put up this mask, we have to be perfect. No, you can make mistakes and learn, identify the mistakes.
The key is the learning.
And the key is the learning.
The key is the learning. But some of us don't want to learn.
Yeah.
And that brings us to the whole concept of openness.
Yes.
which is a personality trait as well.
Mm-hmm.
And so some of us are high on that spectrum. So we will try something new every week. And there are some of us who go into the same
That
thing
are stuck,
from we did the high school till now. But we
yeah.
live in a world of disruption. They call it the VUCA world. It's volatile, it's uncertain, it's complex, and it's ambiguous. And so we no longer have the luxury of predictability or the things that work yesterday working today. And so openness to experiences is what sets us up to learn so we can innovate and pivot in the moment. And if we don't learn nothing else from COVID and remote working and quiet quitting and the great resignation is that the things we've always done don't always work anymore. And so we have to be open and flexible to what that might mean to move forward.
We have to be open and flexible. We're going to jump to a quick commercial break. More with Mark-Odean Grant when we return. And we are back. Thank you for joining us here on Chasing Purpose. We are in our Purposeful Leadership segment, and we are joined by Dr. Mark-Odean Grant. Here we're talking about learning power, learning our lessons along the way of journey. Spoke about vulnerability. His mantra, well-being, well done, important about being well with yourself and about making sure you're pouring into you, which is super, super important on our journey of purpose. Dr. Grant, what inspired you to become a transformational leader?
In my early experiences as a team member, as well as when I just became a manager, I realized that there was not that intentional pouring into me as you described. And so there was an expectation for work to be delivered, but often I didn't have the tools or the maturity even to be effective. And so when I had my own team, instructions weren't enough. People needed learning lessons. People needed time to talk about things that didn't have anything to do with work. And so I realized in that moment that to be an effective leader, it couldn't just be about the results, but one of the critical means to that end is developing people.
Yes.
And that's what transformational leadership is about. And sometimes that's a huge cost, but it's what's essential in order to maximize what's possible.
It's what's essential in order to maximize what's possible. It goes back to that humanness. And you identifying that there was something that was void for you, that you weren't given as a team member. So you decided to be that change. You decided to be that for your team.
For my team.
Which is, that's important.
That's important. But the other thing is that as the leader or the manager or whatever title you have, you are responsible for the results.
Yes.
And so if the team fails,
exactly. Yeah. Ultimately, yeah.
It's on you.
Oh yeah. Oh, absolutely. Very important. Very important. If the team fails, it's on you. And the point that you made where you needed to not just the task to be done, right? That you were given a task, but you also needed the resources, and you needed someone to speak to, and you needed a place to be to communicate whatever it was that you were communicating, and to feel that whatever you're communicating is going to be okay, and you're not going to be judged by it. And that is very important for your team members, for my leaders out there. Yes, it's psychological safety. It's important that when someone comes onto your team, that they feel they're safe, that they feel protected, that they feel that they can share respectfully, that they feel that they're not going to be attacked verbally or emotionally or any of that stuff. It's important that we are creating those spaces for our team members. There's so much toxicity in the world outside of work, right? So to come to work now, you have to deal with that there. Where some people, let us just be real, the world over, some people, going to work is their kind of saving grace. It's their escape. It's their refuge. It's their escape. from whatever's happening outside. So it's important that we're identifying this and creating these spaces for our team members. Very, very important. There's this quote we were talking about. I pulled up the wrong one, but now I have a whole different one that came up. This one is by Warren Buffett. Should you find yourself in a chronically leaking boat, energy devoted to changing vessels is likely to be more productive than energy devoted to patching leaks. So energy devoted to changing vessels is likely to be more productive than energy devoted to patching leaks. There are many of us right now on a sinking ship. And instead of us thinking, all right, we have to pivot, we have to get off of this, we are doing this. We're getting buckets and trying to get the water out the boat.
Yeah, you're using your last energy to die, basically.
And look, and I know that it's scary sometimes when you've set out this plan, when you have this action plan, you said, all right, this is where we're going and this is how we're going to get here. I've charted the course. It's scary to now figure out, look here, now I now have to veer. I have to jump ship. This is how but we have to do it. It's more productive.
And so that's where the vulnerability comes in again.
Yes.
Not just for other people now, but that's an indicator to you that, hey, what me I gotta do now? Because it's sort of intuitive to be committed to your plan. But things change. Things change, and when people are depending on you, it's even more critical.
Very, very critical. And these are mindsets that we have to, as leaders, not just in the business world, but leaders of our own lives and in our community, that we have to adopt, right? And we have to adapt to. Things change, and COVID taught us anything. It was that. If COVID taught us anything, it is that we need to be able to adapt to change in order to pivot. Life throws us curveballs. How are we going to dodge them? And the lessons that life is throwing us, how are we going to use those lessons and apply them on that pivot and on that change? Can you provide our listeners with 3 to 5 tips to embracing a mindset of learning and vulnerability?
Well, the first thing is your mindset has to be flexible. I think they call it a growth mindset now, not a fixed mindset. So your past failures are not going to predict that you're going to fail again.
Absolutely.
And your past successes aren't going to predict that you'll succeed again.
Yeah.
And so being open to what's possible, and I know that sounds really vague, but being curious and remaining open to trying something new, exploring different perspectives, getting feedback is crucial for us to be effective as leaders, and that will put you on the spot. And so that's a discomfort, but at the same time, it's an opportunity to be courageous and learn. So that's the first thing in terms of embracing that growth mindset. In terms of vulnerability, I would say lean into it. Obviously, there are times when you have to hold a strong face, but you can't afford to lose the lesson because you weren't courageous, because you were in your feelings. And so there is room to be in your feelings, and if you set up a safe space with a team, you'll have that luxury.
Yes.
But that's the work that has to go into being an effective leader, being able to lean into those moments where, hey, things didn't go as planned, or I made a huge mistake, or I give a directive that caused the whole thing to fall apart. Pivoting to what can we learn from this, as opposed to why we dead, is crucial. So embracing the vulnerability, especially if you're a male, because that can be hard. You can learn a lot from it. And what I would say, in order to make that easier, is to surround yourself with people who you can trust to hold that space for you. Sometimes we have to bawl.
And that's okay, guys.
We have to make an announcement. I was wrong. But that's crucial. In terms of the learning part, I like to say learning is the skill of the millennium. The degrees, them nice. Yeah, and being able to use the technology, but the ability to change your behavior, to change your mind, to change your decision because of the experience you just had or new information coming to you is crucial, especially in a world where you don't know what happened tomorrow.
Which is the world that we
And so many organizations aren't even planning 10 years now. They're planning what's going to happen next quarter or in the next 3 years. And so leaders have to be increasingly able to change. And that is what learning is. It's about changing based on what you're seeing now and what you're experiencing.
Talk to us about Visio HQ.
Visio HQ is my madman mission.
Ooh, tell us about it.
You like mad people?
Yes, I attract them. They're my friends.
Oh my God. I feel like I belong.
Welcome, friend.
So Visio HQ is a consulting firm that connects clients with insights, experts, and solutions from a partner ecosystem. That is the definition I've worked on for the last 8 years. So basically, our mission is to transform work life in the Caribbean. Yes. So
transform work life in the Caribbean. Break that down for me.
Yeah. So the whole historical concept about servitude and what we that's still a part of our culture. We talk about the plantation society and we talk about the plantation workplace and how we look at service, how we look at leadership in terms of how we treat our teams and how we think about production. That is what our aim is to target, whether through coaching relationships, whether through consulting engagements to improve customer service delivery in an organization or improve leadership or setting up work. I like to say that leadership is a job. Often we think that it's just a title. So you're the finance manager, so you're in charge of the finances, but you're also in charge of the people in finance.
Yes.
And in charge doesn't just mean you tell them what to do. It means you're creating the conditions for them to thrive.
And working alongside them as well.
And perform effectively. And so having those conversations in different ways, we've had the opportunity to work with a few local clients as well as clients overseas toward that end. It's
has it been receptive?
Not as much as I'd like, but it's a journey. Our current plan is to 2040.
Okay.
So the idea is, how do we create those small buckets of success that accumulate over a period of time, and how do we build those capabilities within professionals in the region so that they can work with organizations to accomplish that. So that is the working with again, instead of trying to do it on your own.
I love it. Why would we add a title of mad people? This is what is needed. This is what is needed. We need this education. Then we need this awareness so that we as leaders can identify when we are probably not, sometimes of us, we're the issue, sometimes we are the issue. So this is great. This is great. So how do people get involved?
Okay,
or how can companies get involved in Visio HQ?
One of the things that we've learned recently around the whole getting people on board is training is crucial because we're talking a language that people don't
know yet, but you're working on it.
Because normally stay in your box and do things the way you've always done it. And so what we're going to be doing next year is starting a campaign to engage some associates that we will train as well as provide assignment opportunities for them to practice.
Okay.
So that is something to look out for next year. So some of those training areas are change management, which is a big deal. We're also working on developing an ICF accredited coaching program for the Caribbean context. So that's another big project that we're working on. And just generally training people who are in professional services, coaching, consulting, advisory, anybody who is giving support, whether it's to an entrepreneur or a leader. Those are the people that we're looking for to help with the sort of knowledge and education and the community of practice to flex, because we don't know all the answers.
No, we don't.
It's something that we are exploring through research and learning together to create tools that we can help companies who are interested in going on that journey to do better.
Well, Dr. Mark-Odean Grant, this has been a very refreshing conversation. Your energy, I'm big on energies, and your approach to what you're doing, I can see, is a passion of yours. Definitely your purpose journey. And I thank you for what you're doing in this space.
I appreciate that.
Where can our listeners and our viewers find you on social media?
Okay, so for the company, you can find us at visiohq.com. That's visiohq.com. And you can find me directly at my website, markodean.com, markodean.com. On social media, I'm at Mark-Odean.
At Mark-Odean. And give me the website again.
Mark-Odean.com.
Mark-Odean. That's pretty easy. Mark-Odean.com. Please support this young gentleman entrepreneur who is out there, transformation leader, out there doing amazing things in his space. Thank you. Thank you for joining us. All right, we're going to jump to, are we doing a break? We're going to play some music. Let's play some music. More when we get right back here on Chasing Purpose. So, as we enter our Stepping Out on Purpose segment, which is where we wrap, I can't believe the 2 hours is up already. From our guest, Dr. Mark-Odean, we have learned that learning while leading, it isn't a bad thing. It's important that we're learning while we are leading. It's a requirement. As leaders, we shouldn't run from the fact that we don't have all the solutions, but embrace every opportunity to learn. And in doing so, we become more impactful leaders. Thank you for joining us here on Chasing Purpose. I certainly enjoy every time that I am here with you. Up next, we have Jamaica Live with Mr. Bruce Golding. So yeah, as always, we sow seeds here on Chasing Purpose that others will benefit from. Continue to stick and stay right here on the 99, and I will see you on Wednesday.